Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to welcome my good fiends of the Horror Heals podcast. Is horror good for mental wellness? But of course it is.
Hey, Horror Heliacs, it's Corey. One of my favorite things about Horror Heals is when our guests remind us that horror is never just about the monster. Today's guest, Rae Jones, is an actor, writer, producer, and horror creator whose short film Soul Sisters takes three estranged sisters, puts them together on Halloween night, adds gift-giving, old wounds, broken trust, and just enough sinister energy to make everything go completely off the rails. What I love is that Rae isn't interested in scares for the sake of scares. She wants to explore what happens when trauma shapes who we become, when family fractures over time, and when the desire for something shiny and new compromises our moral compass. Kendall and Rae also discover they have something unexpected in common. They both understand that families don't always look the way we're told they're supposed to. They talk about half-siblings, reconnection, rejection, giving people grace, and the complicated emotions that come with building a family story that isn't neat or simple. Of course, they also cover haunted attractions, horror as therapy, why scary movies get your blood pumping, and whether watching horror with someone might actually be an aphrodisiac. I'll let you decide that one. Is horror good for mental wellness? Of course it is. Here's Kendall with Rae Jones.
How do you feel about our crazy premise that horror can be good for our mental wellness?
I love it. I feel like with horror, the character's always at a heightened state of being a lot of the time. And we don't really get that permission in life. Whatever we're going through, it's just sort of like keep it together, you know? And so if you are going through something and you are trying to figure out how to navigate those emotions, sometimes watching a film at the right time where it's a psychological thriller or whatever it is, it gives you that permission to breathe, to feel, understand that other people go through it too. I love it because nobody really thinks that. They're like, horror? Why would you feel good about someone's arm getting chopped off? But it's more than that in my mind. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny how this recently came up, but my father died suddenly on May 1st. And
I'm so sorry.
It was sudden. My brother had seen him the day before. Everything seemed okay. And then,
Oh my God.
he, had a heart attack or a stroke or something and was gone. And immediately, that was Friday night, I came home and I said, Corey, we got to watch some horror. You know what I mean? Like for me, it was the release and my dad would have been happy. You know what I mean? Like that was,
I love that.
So to your point, you can be in lots of places in your life and it can help you.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Was he a horror fan?
Well, only because I think I forced him. So crazy part of my story is Corey and I didn't meet my biological family until 2017. I was adopted as an infant, and those parents loved horror, and I was raised with it. But then I found my biological family in 2017 after doing a DNA kit. And in fact, that's why we live in New England. We lived in San Francisco until we made the discovery. And I did a DNA kit, found out that my half brother and I matched. He'd been looking for me since 1988. And I suddenly found out that my parents are still living. They were 15 and 16 when I was born, which is why I was given up for adoption. But suddenly, after feeling like an only child for 47 years, I suddenly had 6 half-siblings and 2 living parents, 13 nieces and nephews. And it's actually why we moved to New England, because my dad lived here and 2 of his other 3 kids lived here. So it's been a crazy story. That's what Family Twist, our other podcast, is about.
That would have been a question, like Family Twist. What does that entail?
It's all about DNA surprises. It's all about adoptees or donor conceived people, or, very commonly We find people who thought that their dad was their dad all their lives, and then suddenly found out it was somebody else. So it's been a fun thing to get to tell other people's story. My story's in there too. That's why we started it.
Yes.
In your short, there is a sister situation that I thought kind of related to Family Twist.
Yes. Yeah. That's really what it is. Because their family dynamic in the film is it's very fractured because they haven't been in close connection for a few years. And one of them is a half sibling. And so it's like trying to balance all of that on top of, some stories that they didn't know about when they were younger, and like having that connectivity. It is very interesting. I'm sure maybe it felt kind of overwhelming for you, I'm sure, kind of inviting and seeing and knowing your family and getting to connect with them. And, luckily nothing happened in a horror sense like this film when connecting with them.
Not yet.
But
not yet. Well, spoiler,
but,
I've never spoken to my birth mother. No, she can't handle it. Which, whatever, I've been it's getting close to 9 years. And so it's like, I had to kind of let that go a bit, so, because I've struggled with that. I never in my whole life felt rejected ever. And suddenly I thought, I never dreamt that she wouldn't want to know me, but she does not. So it's interesting, but that's my horror element. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Everybody has this. I mean, of course, with society, it's like there's this idea of like how families are supposed to work, how they're supposed to be, how it's supposed to go, and that's what it is. And some people are very lucky that they have that sort of flow. We all have different stories and different ways in how we connect and disconnect. And as long as you know that you're holding true to your life and what you're doing, that's important. It's hard, but
I'm finally, this many years later, I'm finally giving her a little more grace than I used to. I used to be bent out of shape, and it's like, you know what? It is what it is, and I'm happy that I have her 2 daughters that are my sisters and I'm connected to, and that's beautiful. And that's what I'm getting in this situation, There
are good things coming from it.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it's funny because I think of this horror aspect when I first made the discovery and she didn't want to speak with me. I had a recurring nightmare that something happened to either her or me and we never got to meet, and it would wake me up. And thankfully, those have subsided because it's been 9 years. But back then, it was a real fear for me. Like, I wanted to meet her, and just once, just to say, I don't blame you for saying whatever. So, yeah.
And having dreams, too, where it sort of correlates to maybe like those corners of your brain that are like, this could be a horrific, in your mind, when you're in your waking mind, it's like, yeah, this reunion's going to be great. But then your subconscious is really there telling you something different.
And Corey laughs at me and says it's because I'm self-important, and I never dreamt that anybody could not want to meet me.
Oh my God.
But I just know about myself. Like, if I had been forced and she was forced to give me up, that I wouldn't have been able to go to sleep the night that I found her. You know what I mean? Like, I just would have to know my child. But that is not how she's processing this whole scenario. I wish her well. I hope she gets the therapy that she needs.
We all need it. I know some people say they don't prefer it. I don't know. You just got to let it out.
Yep. It's helped me a lot.
Yeah.
So,
letting go sort of creates more space and more room, which is kind of what you see sort of at the end of a horror film. Not every horror film, but it's like, okay. We defeated the demon, or we defeated the whatever, and it just feels like we let it go and it's gone. And having that sort of,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what led you to horror as the genre? We've already
Mhm.
talked about how it can be useful, but what prompted you three to want to do horror?
Love horror. When I was little, I watched this. Well, little, I was like 11,
Mm-hmm.
but I watched this film called Cellular. I don't know if you've heard of that film. It's not a horror film, it's a thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Evans and Kim Basinger
Mm.
and Jason Statham are in
Oh,
it.
wow. Okay.
Like 2004, like older film. And it was very good. But I remember there's a scene with Kim Basinger where her character is kidnapped by Jason Statham, and he was going to go up to the attic to confront her about something. And her terror, the way she was acting, I put the blanket over my head. I was like, oh my God. And then after that, that feeling in my body, it made me think, oh, that's fear, that's terror. And then after that, I kind of felt, I wouldn't say addicted, but I was just sort of like, okay, how did she do? I want to feel that again. And so it just sort of led me down this path of horror films. And I would watch Turner Classic Movies with my mom, and I would watch horror and sci-fi with my father. So it was a different combination, but I was mainly on my father's side sometimes because I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I want to see Alien versus Predator, and like I want to see all these things. And so I want to say it just started from there. Of like, okay, this is where I want to be. And then Car Maria, I met them. We shared a manager a couple years back, and we would get sent lists of like acting classes and workshops and stuff, and they were all similar. And eventually we crossed paths and connected in those classes, and they brought up their love of horror, and I was like, yeah, we're in it. We're best friends at this point.
That's so cool.
We got to link up, and they called me because we shot this in 2024, and they called me and wanted to collab, and I was like, that would be great, let's do it. And Amber, she had known Amber from before and brought her on to the project as well. And Amber and I, we actually went to the same acting conservatory, but we graduated in different, I think it's like a year ahead or behind, but we sort of connected years later with this project. And so we all collectively, we didn't have shame. It was like we could
Yeah.
talk to each other. People have their own ideas of what they like and what they feel they want to watch, of course, but we all found that in common. And so, yeah, we wanted to create a film.
That's so
It was
cool.
fun.
That's so,
Yeah.
I love when things are happen like organically because
Yeah.
I feel like some creators are pushed together, and yeah, and
Yeah.
I like it when it happens the way it happened for you. That's so great.
Well, it's one of those things where you don't know how it's going to be when you work with friends or work with people that you don't know or that you want to collaborate. You just don't know what the dynamic is going to be, but we've had a great dynamic, and I feel very lucky for that. I've learned so much from them because we're sort of in this festival circuit right now of submitting to festivals and things like that. And I had never done it before, and they both are seasoned with it. And so I've just learned a lot from them in terms of work ethic and
Yeah.
what it means to be proactive. And so it worked out for the best. Yeah.
You're doing the festival circuit. That's tiring, but hopefully it's really rewarding.
It's cool to see that there are people out there that like they're just these little niche horror festivals, and we're just so happy to submit and be a part of that and hopefully continue the conversation with our short. But I guess for me, one of the things that I really want to sort of continue to do is have more Black people in horror. And we've seen that sort of cracked open a lot more with Jordan Peele. And that was really exciting. Ever since I was young, I gravitated toward the horror films that did have white people and white characters. And I always wondered why. It's not that with Black cinema, we don't have our own horror, but there were just certain ways that we were being shown and depicted more than I think many people really enjoyed. I think we just wanted to see something different from our community, and I want to continue to do that. And there's some Black scream queens that we're still, we're coming up. I just want to continue to put that out there. We don't have to be killed off. We could solve the story. So that's another element that makes me really excited about this.
Well, that's
this
huge.
Year and promotion and stuff.
And we are happy to see more representation. It's just, it took a long time, and kudos to Jordan Peele for, helping.
Yes.
And did it very well.
Yes.
We love to put on his movies. I think they're really well done.
Do you have a favorite?
I'm so bad at movie names. Corey knows them all. Is it Us?
Us, yeah.
Yes.
That one's really good.
I love.
You like that one?
Yeah. And I don't probably know them all as well as Corey, but I'm just a sucker for that. I keep going back to the same ones over and over.
Yeah. Which ones do you like to revisit?
I'm ridiculous with the Friday the 13th.
Oh,
Corey's like, oh God, here we go again. Don't get me wrong, but he's like, really? We just watched that. I'm like, that's, I need to see, Jason get somebody.
Yes. And some of the ways where you're just like, oh my God, he's superhuman now. Like something's happening here.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
That was always intriguing to me too. Like he's a person, but he obviously, there's some supernatural element,
Yes.
You can't keep coming back the way he comes back.
Exactly.
His do,
Yes. He has 10 lives, cat lives.
Exactly.
I know it's 9, but he has more.
It's an interesting connection. Corey and I, when we flew out here to New England to meet my family for the first time, we flew in, I think, on a Friday. And on Saturday, there was a horror convention happening in Worcester, Mass. And we took my half brother and my half sister, and each one of them had brought one of their sons. And we met Kane Hodder together. And he was so gracious. And we told him the story of literally we've physically seen each other for less than 24 hours now. And every time Kane sees Corey at a horror convention, he remembers meeting us, which is just sweet,
That is so cool.
Just a nice guy. I love the connections to horror.
Oh my God.
My local sister, she's an amazing artist, and she's created so many fun images for us of horror characters.
Really?
In the house. She's missed her calling, but a lot of fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's this communal aspect about it where you're like, okay, when you're on your own, you feel like such a weirdo. But when you're with other people, it's like, okay, we do like this kind of film and we're fans. And that's so cool.
Yeah. We even got different. Corey's going to laugh at me for not remembering who. He got another horror actor to call my sister on her birthday. It was just comical. It was like a cameo thing, but it was great. And she just got
it's amazing.
So we try to keep the traditions,
keep them alive.
Corey and I bonded over horror. We've been together for 21 years, and we bonded immediately way back then.
With horror.
Yep. He worked in the newspaper industry for 10 years, and he got to go to a lot of screenings. And I love movies, but I always wanted to go with him to screenings of horror films.
Yes.
We did. Wow. The money we would have spent, was a lot.
It made it worth it. The connection, that's so cool. Yeah.
It did. And my stepsister that I grew up with said, seeing a horror movie with somebody gets them all frisky. Too. I won't comment about whether she was right, but yeah. Yes,
You
that's what
know.
it was. Yeah. I think she was just making excuses, but that's okay.
Oh, that's great.
Cool.
Oh, I haven't heard that one yet. I love that.
It does get your blood pumping. Let's put it that way.
It does. The adrenaline,
Yep. Yep.
we'll leave it there.
Yep. Yep. Keep it
Funny.
PG, Kendall. Keep it PG.
I feel like with this film, it is about three sisters who come together on Halloween night, and they want to break the walls down, break some barriers, do gift giving, and some sinister things unfold from that. And there is unexpectedly comedy and comedic elements in there that we didn't think would work, but they do. And different cuts, we're like, yeah, let's leave that because that's really funny.
Yeah.
So it isn't fully horror. There really is a nice comedy and comedic balance to it. What we hope to get across with the film is to really give people the understanding of what it means when you will do anything to get what you want, and when your moral compass is compromised by a shiny little toy over there, and you'll maybe kill to get it. You'll do whatever you need to get it. And also the idea of trusting someone after years of not speaking or communicating, and having that trust only for it to be broken in some ways because of the things that happen in the films. And also it really does sort of speak to family dynamics, which with the short, we don't get too specific on, but with more of a fleshed out version of the film, we kind of want to dive deeper into those family dynamics. And it really does shed a light on what traumatic experiences, how they shape you when you grow up, and the things that you do and the decisions you make and the people that you gravitate toward and the things you like. It does impact you in more ways than you think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we really wanted to do that.
Is your hope to get to do a more expanded version, like a deeper dive, a longer?
Yeah. I think we're still trying to do like a part 2 of where we left off from it. And then I think from there, maybe sort of see how we can expand both versions. The world is our oyster. So we're just trying to figure out how to expand it. But it'd be fun. It'd be really fun.
And especially you found a good, like, cohesive group, and you work together well. And
yeah,
that's huge.
What I was saying before, where it was great, where there was no shame. And it wasn't just in terms of the horror itself, but also just the process of like, doesn't have to be embarrassing. It's like, we wrote this scene, not feeling it. Okay, let's try something else, or any ideas that we've pulled from other places and spaces. But even the idea of couples, and then one spouse, hurts the other. And it's just like, oh, what does that mean if people are interconnected and they love each other? Maybe we should put this in that. Like, it was just, with horror, we were kind of pulling from everywhere. We even had horror movies playing in the background as we're doing wardrobe and getting our hair. We had Long Legs playing in the background. Oh, wow. We had Terrifier, which that might be a little much for me, but Maria loves Terrifier, so that was really funny. But yeah, we just kind of like pulled from different places of inspiration. And it was also really cool because I used to work in a haunted house as an actor, and we would have makeup. I'm from Colorado, so it was in Colorado like a while ago, but we would have makeup and people come in, and then there were some times when they weren't able because it was like a freelancer type of thing. And so we would just have to do our own makeup. And from there, I started to really enjoy learning how to do stuff like cuts and burns and boils. And in acting school, we did that as well. And then with this project, we were like, who's going to do the horror makeup? And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I'll try. And that ended up being really fun because we all know that it's magic and
Right.
it's movies, but it's really fun to rip the latex and stipple the blood on there and see the stuff is really, really fun. So that was fun too. It was just like a lot of trial and error and
I bet.
skeleton crew, and that's what makes it fun though,
Yeah.
sort of scrambling to figure out how we're going to have the perfect light for when it was overall really fun.
That is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds
Yeah.
creatively freeing, like just to, be in charge,
Yeah.
make your own mistakes,
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people in the industry, they do express, make your own stuff, do your own stuff, make your own stuff. And in my mind for a while, I'm like, no, they're going to pick me. They're going to pick, it's just like, no, I'm not going to make my own stuff. And being so stubborn like that didn't really help me go anywhere creatively. And I'm like, what is the harm in making your own stuff? But I think it's because I also didn't have the confidence in myself. It's just sort of like, let the directors, they'll see it in me. They'll see it, but I have to see it in myself too. It's like, how do I navigate that? So I was kind of really against making something on my own for a while. And Maria really gave that push. And same with Amber, honestly. I think it's one of the hardest things I've ever done so far, but it's been the most rewarding.
Yeah, I'm sure a very vulnerable place to be, but I bet, I think I would feel, even doing these podcasts, even doing community theater that I've done, it's just felt so expressive, and you get to touch so many people. That's what I think matters, right? And of course you want to be good at it, of course. But that, I think, comes if you find the right team.
I like what you said there about like reach, with film and community theaters, and like there's reach there. And I mean, especially now with talks of AI and all that whole takeover, of course, sort of going back to the bare bones of theater and play and space, and that's what's fun.
Practical.
That's what's fun. It kind of brings you back. Yeah.
I love that stuff. When I go back and watch old films, then you're like completely amazed they did all that without CGI. I'm like, that's the shit. That's the stuff,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It's just,
and not even, it's like, we got to put the string on here. We got to hook it to here, and then just hope it happens and we'll pull it. And that's actually really fun to watch in horror films in the past. Like, one of my favorite films is Nightmare on Elm Street, the original.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how many buckets, many did you have at that point in time to do all these things? And that is what makes it fun too. Yeah, that sort of you don't have this reliance on technology. Right. It's just what you have imagined, and we're going to DIY this shit.
What I want for super young people is to go back and see those things.
Yes.
You don't just we've always had CGI.
Yes, it's always just sort of like training the eye to, and also because I watched a horror. There's a new film that came out called Obsession. I don't know if you've seen that making the rounds, but I did watch that last night, and I thought, because I kept thinking about the jump scares that they were doing, and they were a lot more clever than prior, and they were a lot more devious and a lot more bizarre. So it's kind of nice to even see that change and evolve, because in older films you will see, you're like, okay, I think I know what's going to happen. And then it happens, right? And so people sort of go off of that formula for a while. Even the types of scares or the way that horror films do these kind of new tactic scares is really interesting. Is there a film that like totally scares you though, and you're like, I'm not gonna do it? I can't
Well,
do it.
I can't watch home invasion stuff. I just can't.
Oh,
I don't. I've said it before on this podcast, but my home was burglarized when I was 7, and
oh
no
no.
one was home. But they did.
Okay.
They killed our dog. Like, it was traumatic for a 7.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And ever since then, A, I used to have nightmares about it, but B, I do not want to watch.
Oh my God.
I know. It was.
That makes sense.
Yep. It's
Holy crap.
Panic Room, that movie with Jodie Foster.
Yes.
I thought I was going to hyperventilate. I was like, I can't do this.
No.
I was like, oh my God.
Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sometimes one of those things where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Watch a nice
Oh
one,
man.
but I can't, you know.
Yeah. You're like, invasion? Not happening. Nope.
And I love a good demonic possession. I do.
Oh,
That's my.
would you want to be possessed? Like, have that feeling of like, if it was an acting sort of thing, do you kind of enjoy that idea of sort of going everywhere with it? I mean, that
Yeah.
would kind of be fun. Yeah.
Like Exorcist, it's one of my favorites. I love that whole genre. I love supernatural things, and
Yes.
I love it.
The Conjuring is really good.
Oh.
I just saw that a few weeks ago.
Yep.
Those films. Yeah. I can't really do Saw anymore though. I mean, I left that like the second film, but I'm just like, oh my God, I can't.
Yeah.
do it.
It feels too real, right?
I was like, oh my God, what would I do if I was in that situation?
No, I actually had nightmares after watching that kind of torture porn stuff. I can't. No,
Oh yeah. Yeah. No.
that's not my thing.
No. No. It's like, okay, this is a little intense. I remember my sister's a horror fan too, and we would watch stuff like Dawn of the Dead and The Crazies. Like, some zombie takeovers are kind of fun too. And those scenarios, you think, okay, how am I going to survive if I think that's another reason why I enjoy horror, because it's like a fly on the wall for these incredibly upsetting and disturbing happenings, whether it's grounded in realism or if it's this different world. But there are circumstances that we normally wouldn't find ourselves in, or that we would not want to find ourselves in. And it does give that fly on the wall into a situation where you're like, shit, does this really happen to people, or has this happened in life or in the world? And it's interesting in that way, in my mind. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because how else, aside from working with some people like that, how else would you experience zombies?
How would you know? Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Uh-oh.
Exactly.
I might edit that
Yeah.
out. But, great. Well, one of the last questions we always like to ask, and you might already know this is coming. Who's your favorite final person in a horror film? And it's difficult to have a favorite, I know, but.
That is a good question.
I know.
Oh my God. That is a good question.
This is the perfect time for me to do a little shout out to Adrienne King, who was the final person in the first Friday the 13th. She was one of our very earliest guests on this podcast.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I love
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's so sweet.
Oh, wow. Okay. So she knows. She's like, I was that.
Yeah.
I've been through it. I've been that final girl.
Yeah.
I would have to say maybe Cabin in the Woods.
Oh.
It's such a farcical,
Yeah.
crazy, outlandish horror film.
Yep.
Even though everything all goes to shit, I just kind of love how it was like the two characters at the end, and it was like they were all dead, and they were just looking at each other, and it was just like,
Yep.
okay, well, nothing could be crazier than this fucking shit. So, yeah, I would have to say that. Also, Evil Dead.
Yeah.
I kind of like how it's this psychological and physical takeover, but then there's also a way to extract that, and you sort of come on top, or the person that's possessed actually does die.
Right.
But yeah. But I'd have to say those.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And we recently watched Cabin in the Woods again.
Yes.
Like constant rotation, it's like,
Because there's some horror films where I'm like cleaning and it's on the background and like someone's head is, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm still gonna vacuum. And yeah, Cabin in the Woods is one of those where I have on in the background sometimes too.
absolutely. I can wash dishes and, all kinds of.
Yes. And sometimes I'll like turn down the volume because I'm like, oh, my neighbor's walking by.
Oh,
So bad.
in general. Now it's spring and we'll have our windows open a lot more often. And I wonder what people must think when they're walking their dogs past our house.
Hearing all this screaming and
I have literally yelled out and said, "We're fine in here. We're fine. This is just television."
We're okay. It is our incredibly great speakers and this film.
Yep. We just put that TV room in the front of the house. We shouldn't have, but yeah. And Corey does love his bass. My God, it shakes the house. But
especially with horror, because the ominous music comes on and you're just like, oh, Here we go. your podcast, like it's so cool. And to have a place and space where people have a commonality, and like I was saying before, we're so happy to do whatever.
That's so cool. Great. That's so cool.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Horror Heals. One thing that really got me with Kendall and Rae is the idea that horror gives us permission to feel everything we're usually told to keep inside. Fear, grief, anger, hope, regret, joy, even laughter. Rae talks about Soul Sisters as a story about fractured family relationships, trust that's broken, and the way childhood trauma continues to shape the choices we make as adults. She also intentionally leaves room for humor, because that's real life too. Sometimes the darkest stories are also the funniest, and sometimes the people who have been through the most are the first ones to make you laugh. I also appreciated hearing Kendall share how horror helped him after losing his dad, and how the genre continues to be a place where he can process emotions that don't always have words. Rae immediately understood that instinct because horror doesn't ask us to suppress our feelings, it invites us to experience them. We're excited to see where Soul Sisters goes next, whether it's another short, a feature, or maybe even a series. The world Rae and her collaborators are building is full of complicated families, complicated choices, and just enough Halloween magic to keep us wanting more. Rae, thanks for sharing your creativity, your kindness, and your love of horror with us. And remember, is horror good for mental wellness? Of course it is. The Horror Heals podcast is produced by Mosaic Multimedia.